Good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm delighted to kick off this session with a chat with Dr. Qureshi. Now, Dr. Qureshi, I think many of you all know, his ministry has been responsible for driving a lot of the policy changes in the automotive industry. And I think really what makes Dr. Qureshi stand out is that he listens to the industry and really takes, policy forward accordingly. So I think an honor to have you here, Dr. Qureshi. Thanks so much for joining us. I'd just like to start off on a broader level on, let's say, it's an EV conclave on overall the EV targets. We've been looking to achieve 30% EV penetration by 2030. While penetration has been pretty robust in two and three-wheelers, there are certain segments where, has been passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles, it's been relatively slow. So just given the current pace of transition, do you think the target is still within reach, and what are the sort of bottlenecks that need to be addressed to really achieve this target?
So first of all, let me clarify that these are the Ministry of Heavy Industries or any other ministry has not set any target as such for electric vehicles. However, what we have, these are projections by Niti Aayog of 30%, and this 30% is also, for different vehicle categories, you have different percentages. For example, for passenger cars, it is expected that 10% penetration would be there by 2030. In some vehicle segments like three-wheelers, we already have upwards of 32% now. In buses, of course, we are at 5 or 6%. And we expect to go to probably 15 to 20%. But one thing is certain, that the government is committed to promoting electric vehicles and the entire ecosystem of manufacturing of electric vehicles, and that is across all vehicle categories. And the 49% CAGR which the Niti Aayog projected, EVs will grow till 2030, I think that's a very reasonable target. In the initial years, of course, we had 100+ growth coming from a very low base. But still, I think these projections which have been given by Niti Aayog, we might as well surpass them, given the speed at which the industry is working.
Right. And, Dr. Qureshi, just on the transition, I think unlike a lot of developed markets, Europe and all, I think we have not given an end date for the ICE engine or ICE vehicles. I think in hindsight, probably, I think doing that, as we've seen, has been a bit of a folly because a lot of markets are not ready. So just wanted to get your sense, in terms of EV versus ICE, how do you see, because I think there are other sectors which also need support, especially on the combustion side. There are hybrids, there are biofuels. So just your thoughts on that. Yeah.
Well, that's a very valid point you have raised. The Government of India is committed to promoting all green powertrains, all clean technologies, and electric, of course, is one of them. As far as the end date of EVs is concerned,
ICE,
end date of ICE is concerned, there is we have a target of net zero by 2070. So there has been an ongoing discussion on it with several ministries, Ministry of, particularly Ministry of Power, BE and MORTH. But till now, no set date has been given for it. But certainly discussions are there, and let us see how it goes.
Yeah. And if at all 2070, you said, so I think...
2070 is the net zero for India.
Exactly, yeah.
So if we assume the average life as 15 years, so then we have to work accordingly. But nothing has been, finalized till now.
So no end date for ICE in the near future, at least not in our lifetimes, at least if 2070 is going to be
no, I wouldn't say that. Yeah. It may be there.
Right.
Still in the works.
Great. Dr. Qureshi, just turning to localization, both government and industry are making a concerted push to localize. In fact, I think a lot of the schemes, PLI, PME is all about this. So I just wanted to know, how effective do you think India's localization efforts have been in building a self-reliant ecosystem? And let's be honest, there's one country which dominates the global supply chain. So, just your thoughts on, the way forward, especially given this scenario where we do have geopolitical challenges, with certain supply constraints.
See, personally, I remember when we had discussions with the industry on the SOP of the domestic value addition in PLI auto, uh, several of the manufacturers showed us diagrams where they said that these are the components which are in red now and they will be in green after we start this manufacturing process into PLI. And I'm happy to note that most of the components which they turned into green are now indeed manufactured in India. So I think there has been substantial progress on localization. And localization is also, if you carefully look, one is the localization of the PLI auto, which says 50% domestic value addition, where there is a quite an involved process on looking at where the components have been obtained from. And there's a slightly different process in the phased manufacturing program, where only certain components have to be sourced from India. So depending upon the passenger category, in one scheme you have phased manufacturing program, in another scheme you have domestic value addition. So I think both of them have worked very well, and the production of lot of EV components in the supply chain has actually been started. That has made the supply chain very resilient, I would say.
Right, and you talked about the PLI scheme. I just wanted to get your sense. How do you find the industry's response has been to it? With the push for deeper localization, do you see scope for introducing additional PLI schemes? And also we had this promotion of manufacturing of electric vehicles in India, which actually I think it's lapsed and no OEM had applied. So do you think are there any plans to revive that, modify that?
See, regarding the scheme to manufacture electric cars in India, of course, the window had closed, and we have had another round of discussions with the OEMs. And we wanted to ask that whether they want any changes in the scheme in case we have to open the window a second time. But I think we are still in the midst of our FTA negotiations with EU. So probably this may take some more time. As regards the PLI, I think localization, as we have already discussed, has progressed very, very satisfactorily. And now more than 8 OEMs and more than about 10 component makers, about 18 or 19 have got the DVA certificates. And about 5 or 6 are more in the pipeline who have submitted their products to the testing agencies. I think that represents quite a cross-section amongst two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and buses. So to that extent, I think only trucks are probably only the category which we have to look for. Others, I think they have all got the DVA certificates.
Right, and you raise a good point on the FTAs which we are in talks with. I mean, UK is done, EU. So do you think this, in a way, I would say, because of the potential lower customs duties, the incentive to localize, could be disrupted in that sense?
So it is always a fine balance. FTAs usually help countries to scale up their manufacturing, to promote trade. So that is why we always welcome the FTAs. But then the fine print also needs to be seen that we have to look at our domestic industry also. We have to ensure the supply chain, the resilience, that also we have to ensure. So, I mean, we have to check for a fine balance.
Right. And, I think another issue, Dr. Qureshi, has been on rare earth, import of rare earth magnets, from China have been the spotlight since April. Have we seen any improvement in the supply constraints? And, just wanted your thoughts on this. Yeah.
So, Ministry has been talking to some of the manufacturers who have the potential to manufacture rare earths. And, but of course, we have a manufacturing cost disability. If we look at the Shanghai index, our manufacturing cost, and of course, we have the oxides with the IREL, Indian Rare Earths Limited. So industry has told us that if that manufacturing disability can be offset, then we can have a profitable business of manufacturing of rare earth permanent magnets. That is one area where we are working on. The second is that there are a lot of alternate technologies, which at least in two-wheelers and three-wheelers we have seen that some of them are successful, and these vehicles have been homologated in the testing centers. But for the passenger cars and other heavier vehicles, there is still a challenge, and I think we are still exploring how we should address that challenge.
Right. Yeah. I think it is a challenge which I think is grappling the industry still. And Dr. Qureshi, just turning to the automotive mission plan, because I think the government's been working on the AMP 2047 as part of its broader Viksit Bharat vision. So how is this plan going to differ from, let's say, the earlier automotive mission plans? What kind of strategic direction or policy guidance can the industry expect, especially in terms of strengthening India's position in the global value chain?
So again, let me clarify that the Automotive Mission Plan is the industry's initiative.
Right.
And the Apex committee which has been formed comprises of the presidents of SIAM and ACMA and other industry bodies. So we really expect the industries to set the targets, to set the vision and the way forward how to achieve it. As far as the government is concerned, I think we only have a facilitating role in it, that we would collect all the 9 or 10 ministries which touch the auto industry in one way or the other. So we have had 2 or 3 meetings, and there we have set up subcommittees where all of the industry is represented. So let us see. I think we have set a target of 6 months, that within 6 months this document should be out. And the important point is that it should be a representative sample of the industry across all OEMs, across all component makers, across all vehicle categories, and also must have the inputs from the relevant ministries of the Government of India and the states and academia. So we have IITs, we have ISC, we have TERI. So that the challenge is really to incorporate all the voices and then align it with the vision of Viksit Bharat, which our Honorable Prime Minister has. There's a document which is there. So, I mean, it is still in the works.
Right. But, I mean, is there any particular direction or guidance you would kind of offer to the industry in this?
See, direction is very clear. One, we have a goal of net zero. Therefore, the shift towards cleaner fuels, which includes not only electric, but also includes biofuels, flex fuels, CNG, CBG. It includes all of them. And then what will be the ways in which various vehicle categories can progress towards that? There is also a component on scaling, and there is also component on R&D. So all these factors together, idea is to make the Indian automobile industry globally competitive, so that our products not only, I mean, of course we are a large market, but now we have to look at exports.
Right.
So how we can make in India for the world.
Right. And, on exports and your thoughts, what do you feel would it take for Indian companies to go truly global? I think because really to get the scale beyond our market, we need to have a strong export push.
See, that was the idea of PLI Auto, to create global champions. And already the Indian industry, we are exporting a large number of our products to the export markets. But certainly there is a lot of room for improvement with the kind of R&D which we are now doing. I'm sure that our exports will increase. But the real challenge is in innovation and doing enough R&D to make the products very suitable for different kinds of markets across the world. So, and the second...
Do you think we need to spend, industry needs to spend more on R&D? Would that?
Certainly. So one is spending more on R&D, and second is that our scale of operations has to improve, that the economies of scale would also push the cost of manufacturing lower.
Right. And lastly, Dr. Qureshi, on the electric buses now, we've got, the largest ever tender, I think 10,900
Yes.
e-buses is opening again on 14th November. Now, this has been in the past, but I just wanted to get your sense, how do you see this panning out? Yeah.
So there are about
Largest tender,
there are 1.5 lakh about STU buses which are operating in the country, and about 13 to 14,000 are already electric. With the push of this 10,900, that will be a substantial addition. So I think the first step in the journey of electrification of electric buses is looking at the STU buses. I mean, the National E-Bus program targets 50,000 electric buses. So with the PSM now, we would be reaching about 38,000. So 12,000 buses target would be remaining. But I think now we are also talking to the industry about financial products which would support private electric buses. We have more than 18 lakh private buses. That is another big area where so far almost no government intervention is there.
Great, Dr. Qureshi. Thanks so much. I think we've had a pretty, we've run out of, gone over time, but just really want to sum up and say, I think what's very heartening is, the way we are looking at net zero is totally technology agnostic. I think everything is on the table. There's no one silver bullet.
Yes.
It's not just EVs or hydrogen or whatever, but I think everything is there. And I think really for a country like India, which has its own unique challenges, I think we have to adapt accordingly. And really, once again, thank you. I'm sure the industry also, takes great benefit from your vision, your policy direction. And thank you very much for this chat. And yes, I'll pass it over to Andrea again.
Thank you, Hormazd. Thank you.